Tragedy, a disastrous event, especially one involving distressing loss or injury to life.
Hello everybody. It's George Harrison, right? Remember me?
How could we ever forget? As lead guitarist for the most successful music group the world has ever known, George Harrison's superstar status has been assured. Known as the shy member of the Beatles, a quiet and unassuming figure beside John Lennon, Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, George spread his wings after the group broke up and enjoyed a successful solo career. His tragic death in 2001 sent the world into mourning, but he left a legacy that will last forever. As the best-selling musical act of the 20th century, the Beatles continue to be held in the highest esteem for their artistic achievements. Known as the Fab Four, their contributions to pop culture are still evident, and their appeal to teenage girls sparked hysteria not seen since.
Here are four of the nicest youngsters we've ever had on our stage. The Beatles! Bring them on! Close your eyes.
George had a reputation as the quiet one, and his interest in Indian music and philosophy influenced the Beatles' music during the late 1960s.
Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes. They call me on and on across the universe.
The early 70s saw Beatlemania come to an end, despite the band winning an Academy Award and Grammy for Best Original Song from a Motion Picture. George, who was the group's youngest member, was just 27 when the band split in 1970. After the Fab Four broke up, George produced a few solo albums and was the first of the four to top the UK singles charts as a solo artist with My Sweet Lord. The song was taken from his acclaimed 1970 album All Things Must Pass, made up of unreleased material he had worked on for a few years.
My sweet Lord, oh my Lord.
His song Bangladesh was released to help famine victims in the Indian subcontinent.
Mr. Harrison, with all of the enormous problems in the world, how did you happen to choose this one to do something about?
Because I was asked by a friend if I'd help.
George was alerted to the suffering by his friend Ravi Shankar and organised the concert for Bangladesh. It was the first benefit concert of its kind, bringing together major stars to collaborate in aid of a humanitarian cause, and featured artists like Bob Dylan and fellow Beatle Ringo Starr. A heavy smoker, George quit when he was first diagnosed with cancer in the late 90s, but lost his battle when the disease spread from his lungs to his brain. On November 19, 2001, George Harrison passed away aged 58, with his wife Olivia and son Danny by his side.
I've seen that road before.
His family continues to keep his memory alive and organise the 2002 Concert for George in his memory. Danny, who bears a striking resemblance to the former Beatle, has followed his father's career path. When George Harrison died, he left a musical legacy that inspired so many. His untimely death was a tragedy, as the world lost an iconic star and music lost one of its most important figures.